Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. The Transforming Strength Bojack is going to be getting an EZA, which I'm very excited about. Been waiting for this for a while. We are on Bao's Twitter account. Unfortunately, even though we are in the sync up, it's happened, we're in it, we're joined, we're synced up. Apart from like a few units. For some reason, Global Dokkan Twitter still decides to not post the details at the same time as JP. So we have to thank him for the translations. His link will be down in the description if you want to check him out. Huge legend, shout out to him for these. So after EZAing, we're currently in base. Bojack on Super will greatly raise attack and defense by 50% for one turn and cause immense damage to the enemy. He will start the turn with attack and defense plus 150%. Extreme class allies attack and defense plus 30%. More support for movie bosses, by the way, but very nice to have that. Space Traveling Warriors or Inhuman Deeds category allies, key plus 2 attack and defense plus 30%. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 15% when facing 2 or more enemies. And another additional attack and defense plus 15% when facing 3 or more enemies. Now, the flat support was nice. Space Traveling Warriors or Inhuman Deeds aren't very stacked categories, but the units that can benefit from Bojack's support, getting key plus 2 attack and defense plus 60%, is nice. You're looking at Broly's, you're looking at Slug on both those categories. Of course, why wouldn't he help the new headlining unit? However, this portion of his passive here, realistically, how often are you facing 2 or 3 or more enemies in difficult content? You're just not. So unless there's some new content on the way, especially with Super Dragon Ball Heroes, then when it comes to difficult content where you're testing these units out and these are their proving grounds, you're not going to be able to utilize the support till its fullest, where you're getting both extra 15% attack and defenses on top of the support Bojack's already giving. If you're going in Super ESBR, or you're going into, not Super ESBR, ESBR or Super Battle Road, basically join them together. If you're going into one of them, sure, easy. If you're taking them into, of course, Supreme Magnificent Battle or Red Zone, you're hardly ever facing more than one enemy. So it's good you have the support anyway, because again, Space Traveling Warriors or Inhuman Deeds units are going to get key plus 2 attack and defense plus 60%, and there's some very good units that can benefit from that. And the support anyway is nice. But the potential on this support, going all the way up to what? Key plus 2 attack and defense plus 90%, I think, all in all, is generally insane. So if we have any difficult content on the way that involves multiple enemies, Bojack is buffing them to Kingdom Come. Like, if we quickly take a look at Space Traveling Warriors, I mean, there's First Form Frieza, there is EZA Team Turles along with their support as well. You can combine that together, especially on, again, movie bosses. That category is forever growing right now, becoming one of the best in the entire game. I say becoming, it is. I said Lord Slug makes sense to help out the new Dokkan Fest. Who else do we have in here? There is also... Okay, we've died out pretty quickly. I thought maybe there'll be like 1 or 2 more units in here that would benefit from this, but doesn't seem to be. Super EZA Full Power Frieza, that's a very good one. You'll notice on Space Traveling Warriors, there aren't too many units that are benefiting from Bojack support. There's a few, but not many. But you will have to try and tie them together on one category, which I don't think there are too many where you can have some of these units together. Then in Human Deeds, we have the likes of Int LR Broly, that's a big one, especially with his domain. Carnival LR Broly. Golden Frieza, unfortunately, is dying out a bit. You can kind of get away with him in slot 3 as long as you keep him safe. I mean, you could include him. Tech EZA LR Broly is another one. He's another one that just kind of doesn't need the support, but sure, give him extra. Again, we have Lord Slug. We have First Form Frieza again, maybe even Rose, especially if you have dupes. EZA Int Broly, but only in certain scenarios, of course, is he good. Then we also have Super EZA Full Power Frieza again. We also have Super EZA Broly. I mean, a lot more units are going to benefit from this in Human Deeds, as I said, Lord Slug being the main one, but some big units like Broly. And it looks like one of the common denominators for categories is, as I said, one of the most biggest growing categories, one of the strongest growing categories in the game right now, and that's movie bosses. You run Carnival LR Broly, run this guy with his domain. There's Team Turles with their support. There's Super EZA Broly with his support. There is also now Bojack with his support, and you also have units like him himself, Carnival LR Broly himself, EZA Tech LR Broly benefiting from this support that's forever floating around on the movie bosses category. is stacked. So I like the support a lot. As I said, it's probably not going to be too often you actually get to benefit from facing 2 or 3 more enemies to actually get it to its full potential. But if you do, that's generally insane. He then gains an additional attack and defense plus 30% when attacking, which builds up to 120 per space traveling warrior or inhuman deeds category ally on the team, self-excluded. Again, after we just look through both categories, that does seem easier said than done, and your best place is to run him on Broly's movie boss 200% lead, where you have Carnival LR Broly, which is 1, in LR Broly, which is 2. You then have Super EZA Broly, which is 3, and then a couple more sprinkled in there. So I think it is manageable. If you are missing a few of these units, though, it might be a lot more difficult to get this full buff. He will guard against all attacks when there are 5 or more space traveling warriors or human deeds category allies on the team, which kind of gives you reason to pack out the category full of, or the team with these category units to get guaranteed guard, which you kind of do really want. Again, if you are missing a few units, that's definitely going to be a lot easier said than done. Fortunately here, this part is this doesn't involve self-excluded, so that does actually count him, thankfully. However, in base, he's looking very good. The potential here is amazing. He looks very, very good. Like I said, if you are missing a few units from Space Traveling Warriors or Inhuman Deeds, you are going to struggle to get his buffs and his guard, which kind of hurts him a lot. I kind of wish it wasn't so heavily attached to those 2 specific categories, but it does seem like he's very reliant on them. But if you do have them active, he's looking very good, and he hasn't even transformed yet. Now moving on to full power Bojack. Once he super attacks, he will stack attack by 50%, greatly raise defense by 50% for 1 turn, cause immense damage to the enemy. Starts a turn with key +3, attack and defense +240. Guard is now guaranteed no matter what. Doesn't matter who is on the team. Like that a lot. Launch an additional attack. There's a 50% chance to become a super attack. That helps with the stacking. Randomly change 1 type of key sphere into strength key spheres. He's an orb changer, which is good. Attack and defense +120 when attacking. Then gains an additional attack +60% and defense +30% when attacking with 3 or more key spheres obtained. With him being an orb changer, that's nice. Then an additional attack +60% when attacking, and launches an additional attack. There's a 50% chance to become a super attack with 6 or more key spheres obtained, which again, because he's his own orb changer, helps out a bunch. And let's not also forget that Super EZA Broly is also an orb changer as well. And then so is EZA Team Turles. Actually, no, he's not. Is he? No, I don't think he is. I'm thinking of someone else. There are a couple of orb changes that can go on movie bosses. That does seem like the best place to run Bojack, just because it's such a good category. You have a revival, you have a domain, you have a bunch of support, including Bojack himself. That is definitely the best place to run him, and the category where you're going to tie the Space Traveling Warriors and Inhuman Deed units onto one category to get his buff in base and to get his guard in base as well. But once he transforms, I like the fact that you get guaranteed guard no matter what. But Bojack looks very, very good. As I said, another great unit being added to movie bosses. That category just is growing thick and fast. But I like the look of Bojack a lot. I do think he's slightly too reliant on category units, but I don't think it's going to be too difficult. However, if you are missing them, it may be an issue. But regardless of that, I do like him a lot. He looks very good. Can't wait to try him out. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Have a great day. And peace.